interesting things going on, but these two have already gone head to head in the first set of games that we watched today. So Legends reappear. They are looking for the comeback. They want to take down Ground Zero Gaming. Both teams here really want to prove themselves in this match.
Look, as if a round 3 situation in order to adjust comps isn't enough, they have another chance to make a comeback. But here we are having a push up at the top up, but Legends reappear. It is currently a 2v3 situation, as we can see that Dragonair, who is being run by Ethos right now, is really just trying to dance and kite away gracefully. They were able to whittle it down to roughly half points there, leaving it on 41. But as we pivot down into that bottom path, Drizzle is really low, is able to fell stinger their way into that berry to replenish their HP.
Look at what is happening here in the central area. Ground Zero Gaming, they're dealing with a thief on their hands. Dragonair getting away with those buffs, but Snorlax is trying to take down that Dragonite and take those buffs back for their team. Snorlax is going to get picked off, unfortunately, there. But Legends reappear, also looking fairly weak on their side as well. Dragonair and the Drizzle getting taken down. I want to say that most of that central area experience there is going to go to the side of Ground Zero Gaming there, but we are just a non-stop fighting in this set of matches. You can really feel the heat here. Both of these teams here are just ready to go back at it once again.
I guess there is so much on the line. The team that does end up winning this best-of-3 set does head into that grand finals. Otherwise, we do have an Inteleon that has opted for that snipe shot, so definitely going to have to lay behind that front line there. Dragonite and Leafeon just still causing havoc up in that top path. They haven't rotated down despite both of those objectives spawning, but Leafeon is already at a pretty hefty level 9, Curly.
Yeah, we've definitely noticed a lot of priority around this top objective. It definitely seems that many of these games, they have been pretty split between both objectives. So looks like both teams are trying to find value in playing both sides of the map here, which I find to be really interesting. But Eldegoss is going to get picked off there. And unless Inteleon can get the steal on this objective, looks like Ground Zero has the number advantage in this bottom path. Meanwhile, on the top path, we do see Leafeon getting that Regieleki secure there. But there's still tons of action happening down there on that bottom path. 2v1 situation up here in the top path. Will this Dragonite be able to apply enough pressure to get that Aleki to go in? And they do, and Leafeon is going to break that tier 1.
Nakasaya definitely put in some great effort there trying to fight off the 2v1 for as long as possible. They eventually did end up getting taken down, but you do have Ground Zero Gaming being able to take out that Reg Ice for themselves, so that has given them some comeback experience, because currently Legends reappear. They look like to have the level lead, considering they have 2 level 9s plus that level 10 Leafeon that we are definitely going to have to watch out for. But on the opposite side, the other evolution is matching that level 2. But we're just gonna see what we can do. Snorlax looks to be caught out here, is able to XP their way out of getting caught in a sandwich from LDR.
Looks like they are not done yet, though. They're trying to linger around to see if, they can occupy some time, wait for their teammates to get involved in what could be a potential brawl here, as Blaziken goes in on this Eldegoss and the Dragonite as well. But, they are going to get snipe shot and KO'd by that Inteleon there. But here we are in the top path here. We're applying a lot of pressure here. Ground Zero looking to make a move on that tier 1, but Legends reappear, really pushing them back and sending them over to their side of the map while continuing to get more KOs. But Leafeon is down on the side of Legends reappear, but they are continuing to apply the heat here.
Look, you show us some pressure, we're going to show you that pressure back. Legends reappear were able to fight their way all the way to that tier 1 pad, but considering jump pads are now available, Ground Zero are able to just respawn in and defend that pad, and now they're going to get ready for these next set of objectives to spawn. Considering Regieleki was taken up first, that is going to be there. It looks like Blaziken is going to start that, while we do have Feather on the Trevenant, preoccupying this Inteleon with that Horn Leech.
Ooh, huge push from that Snorlax there with that barrier, shoving out Legends reappear from that objective, allowing the Blaziken to continue the rip on that Alecki. And of course, this push is gonna help push this Alecki in, and it's just barely hanging on there by a thread, almost able to go into that base. But of course, Legends reappear has their defense on lockdown. So Ground Zero, after losing a few of their own teammates, they are gonna back out of that fight so as to not give more experience to Legends reappear, as levels are looking like they favor Legends reappear just a tiny bit.
Look, but we do have Legends reappear that were able to shred down that Reggie Alecki threat quite quickly. Now they pivoted on down to that bottom path, been able to just shred up that Reggie steal as well. You do have Snorlax going in with that block, trying to block off the Leafeon and the Dragonite, but the Dragonite is able to leap on out of there, crash on down, and now they're going to Dragon Dance their way back to safety on that tier 2 pad. Oh, nope, going in for a final hit with that Hyper Beam to just finish off that tree.
Yeah, they were ready for that pick. Absolutely huge. Just when we thought that they were backing up for some healing, they decided, no, I got this. That Hyper Beam on that Trevenant was definitely dealt with some disrespect there, but huge pick for Legends reappear there. But we have a little bit of dancing going around on this map, as there's really not much wild Pokemon left to grab for experience here on the map, though we do have an Alecki spawning. So both of these teams are just looking for a way to keep each other a little bit occupied here. They're scourging around looking for something, anything. Looks like the central area farm spawned on the side of Ground Zero Gaming, so they're going to swoop that up super quick. Looks like Joe is going to go ahead and grab that orange buff for themselves and go in for what could be a team fight.
Oh, but look at this. Sylvia just ended up getting sniped on down by that Inteleon, and we are going in for an early fight as we have KOs raining down on Ground Zero side. Blaziken, Blissey, now the Sylveon are down. Legends reappear, need to take this opportunity despite them having a lead, and they are going to rip it, flip it, and ship it, and secure themselves some shields and head on through to those goal points with not many defenders left there to try and stop the dunks running on through.
Kello, I blinked. What the heck just happened there? It all happened so fast that that ray was just ripped off of the map and went to the hands of Legends reappear. Absolutely huge plays coming from this team. What an incredible change of pace coming from that first set of games when they first faced Ground Zero Gaming. They are really here showing that they want to win this. Of course, both of these teams want to go forward into the grand finals, but there can only be one. But amazing plays coming from both of these teams here, but love to see Legends reappear clapping back.
Oh, there's 55 seconds left on the clock. You still have a Trevenant, Snorlax, and a Bliss Assistance Unite as well. But considering we have 2 level 14s plus a level 50 that is down, considering it is the Leafeon, you are going to have Snorlax just trying to take the brunt of that damage with that Hyper Beam. The block push to give himself some shielding, able to get in 100 points. But LTR leading at 800 and 236. I don't even think Ground Zero Gaming have enough Aeos energy to make up this difference if they do win this fight.
Yeah, not enough points and just not enough time to make it happen because Legends reappears. Their defense is just on top as they get a whole entire team wipe. So that is going to be game. There's nothing Ground Zero can do at this point except bring it to a game 2, make some changes, and hopefully send it to a game 3 situation.
Well, that is 1 notch on the board for Legends reappear. Whether we're going to end up seeing ourselves another round 3, a turn of the tides here, a repeat, we'll have to wait and see. But great plays there from Legends, 804 to 236. I'd say considering we didn't see a Gyarados this round, maybe there was a potential Gyarados ban, and there we go. It was a Gyarados and a Mew ban. But looking at this recap, you had each team being able to secure themselves a Regieleki, each of them being able to secure themselves that basement Reggie, being Reg Ice and Reggie Steel. But it all just came down to that final stretch. Legends reappear. They saw that opening with that Sylveon snipe being took on down, and then the two to just follow up after that. Like, what else can you do but just rip it, Curly?
Right. It all happened so fast. I swear I blinked and then I saw the secure on the ray and I'm like, "Holy, that just happened so quickly." But massive damage on the side of Ground Zero Gaming despite the loss on their side. I mean, or I'm sorry. I'm getting the names confused. Legends reappear. That Dragonite being at 111,000 damage there, and Inteleon also doing 87k. I mean, we saw some pretty huge snipe shots coming from that Inteleon. So I gotta say, Kello, I think going into this game too, I don't know. I kind of think Ground Zero needs to do something about that Dragonite.
Well, it feels like in terms of the all-rounder picks surrounding Ground Zero's composition, it's either the Gyarados or that Dragonite. I guess picking up Blaziken, considering both of those were banned or taken up by LDR. Whether we might end up seeing another all-rounder come into the fray, I know maybe potentially a Sizzle pick. We did see that during last month's. That also paired up really well with that Eldegoss because of the damage reduction that Puff provides when you have that scissor up in the front line. So I guess, I wouldn't say Joe played a bad game. I think they played a great game. It's just they obviously just couldn't end up contesting up against that Dragonite. Some great Dragon Dances and some big picks from that Hyper Beam. But as I said, I think just their frontliner damage being
Mm-hmm.
taken down, like Mio 86k on the Sylveon, that was definitely one of their biggest threats, and they saw that threat and they put it in a box and shipped it away and nowhere to be seen. By the time they respawned, it was already over for them. So I guess we are going to have that switch around in terms of those picks and the bans. We'll just have to see what Ground Zero are going to cook up next if they are to take this to a round 3.
Yes, and I know you mentioned quite a bit about that Sylveon, and I know there was a few games where Ground Zero was rocking the Snorlax and the Umbreon in that front line, and so this time they went with the Snorlax and the Eldegoss instead as their defender and support. So I'm kind of curious if you did mention Ground Zero needing to have a better front line, and so maybe if they relied on a tanky support in that front line, it could allow Sylveon to be able to, get those confirmed KOs and continue dealing that damage that it does without getting punished as often as it was. And then you also mentioned the Scizor too from last month. We did see Joe on the Scizor and Comfey earlier today, and it was absolutely incredible. So I definitely know Joe has some tricks up his sleeve. I think it would be really cool if we saw the Scizor again, because I don't see any other team doing that, at least none that I have seen personally. So I think that would be some interesting switch ups there. But yeah, definitely I think having a stronger front line. Eldegoss is a really great support, but it has so much range, and so it's often not in that front line, or else it's going to get punished very easily. And so maybe switching up that support could be beneficial to them, going back to that Snorlax Umbreon duo. I don't know. What are you thinking as far as picks go?
Oh, it's so hard. Because it really just comes down. I think having those 4 bands now definitely increases the strategy effect that we really need to take into play. Well, the teams need to take into play going on here, because you just don't really know what to expect. But whether we're going to end up seeing Magikarp or a Gyarados being let free this time round, and maybe we might end up seeing a Dragonite ban instead, or whether we'd end up seeing, say, Dragonite and a Gyarados band being banned. I don't know. It's really interesting to see that Mew actually ended up getting banned this time round. I know that ended up happening during that first set, the Mew ban all the way through. So I don't know. In terms of Mew picks, there must just be a player. I think it might be Mio that must be a really out there great Mew player in order to land that ban, wouldn't you say, Curly?
Yeah, we talked a little bit ago in previous matches. Apparently, I want to say it's ground zero that tends to
Mm.
rock the Dragonite and the Mew combo for secures. So, I don't know if they would be able to get their hands on that comp, and maybe try to get some objective secures on their side, and also be able to get more confirmed KOs for that experience. But yeah, I definitely think Dragonite was pretty problematic in the last game, and it has been a force to reckon with in any game that it has been a part of. So yeah, I think
Mm.
honestly getting rid of that Dragonite pick or being able to select it for yourself, but also it would be really cool to see Joe getting back onto that Gyarados. There was a game where he was a level 14 around the 3 minute mark, and it was very, very insane. And so, yeah, just allowing these players to be able to get on those power picks, I think, would be huge.
I guess it's just demonstrating the power of the all-rounder picks. Interestingly enough, you don't really see many speedsters being picked up this day and age. Like, have we seen any Zoroarks being picked up? Even any Meowscaradas? I guess it's more just going for those brawler type characters, making sure that you have that front line there to take them on and that trusty back line. In terms of Ground Zero's comp, I guess their range damage would be Mio, but that's mid range. That
Mhm.
isn't long range. He had DC on the Inteleon, so is able to lurk back there in the back line in safety. And even then, if they do end up getting caught out, able to fell stinger their way out there. But then it also brings us to the point of Leafeon. We know once Leafeon gets that level 4, and during that match, it was within that first minute that we had Zavi already evolved into the Leafeon, having that Solar Blade move. Like, Solar Blade smacks down and it hurts from the get go.
Yeah, now that could be the strat. There was a game that me and Lobo made a comment on about how Ground Zero, it was the game when they had a Decidueye on it, and the Decidueye was able to get so much free damage because there was nothing on the side of Legends Reappear that was able to get into that back line and take out the Decidueye. So I think maybe if Ground Zero were to lock in a Leafeon ban, then that would allow
Mm.
their Inteleon or their Decidueye or whoever they end up using for that backline damage to, to farm that damage. As you mentioned, there haven't been many speedsters being played. It's mainly just that Leafeon. There's been no Zoroarks tonight, which that was a
Mm.
suggestion that I made for Legends Reappear countering Ground Zero. Put in that speedster and shut down the back line. So I think if Legends Reappear doesn't have that Leafeon in their hands, then it could allow Ground Zero Gaming to get away with more.
Well, it's really it really comes down to those picks. Yeah, you had Legends reappear. Sorry, Ground Zero Gaming. They ended up opting for the two defender bands, Crustle and Slowbro. Now, in terms of Slowbro, I feel like that was more just so they don't end up getting caught out in the slow beam, especially during a Ray fight. Uh, you do not want to be on the opposite end of that beam. So potentially swapping that Slowbro ban for something else. I feel like even with Slowbro not being banned, teams aren't really picking it up. Instead, opting for the other water defender being that Blastoise pick. I guess it's so tricky to tell because there's just so much potential, so much possibility. But as we do end up getting these teams ready, well, they're in their match and we get them prepped and everything. Only time will tell. I mean, one thing I would honestly love to see, if Joe is taking some recommendations. I well, not recommendations, but some what's the word, Curly, when you requests? That's the one.
Yeah.
I would love to see Zarina being picked up. That is an all-rounder we don't see very often, and I know Joe is quite the Zarina player.
Oh, that would be such a spicy pick. And like I said, after seeing them on Scizor, I mean, I feel like Joe can play anything. I think it was like game 1 or game 3 that I made a comment. I said, well, you can ban the Gyarados, but you can't ban Joe. It just seemed like anything that Joe was playing, he was just absolutely popping off. There was also a game where he was rocking the Sylveon and did the most damage on the team. So he's definitely a shining player for Ground Zero. And so I truly think at this point, he could play anything. So yeah, Joe, I mean, Serena, question mark, hello?
Well, I guess in the history of Ground Zero. So, Ground Zero first appeared in season 1. They were quite the Titans during there. Eventually, they did end up being defeated by Iclan. Funnily enough, you actually had Joe end up playing for Iclan last year, but Ground Zero have made a comeback. Joe and Feather were part of that original crew. And you now have Chiyu, or Mio, Chi-Chi, sorry, coming on through from LDR and joining this. And Nakaseya is actually new to the scene this year, but we do have our game ready. Ground Zero Gaming versus Legends reappear. We won't keep you folks on your toes anymore because I actually spy some pretty spicy picks, Curly. Let's go.
Ooh, I cannot wait to see it. Let's see, what are we cooking up right now? Oh, okay, this is looking good for Ground Zero. They've got that Decidueye. They're also, it looks like they're going back to their Snorlax Umbreon for their defender and support, and they've also got the Dragonite on their side as well. So I gotta say, I feel like these are all the changes that we wanted to see Ground Zero making, and I fully approve. I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
I think Joe back on the Dragonite is a huge plus for Ground Zero Gaming here. Considering we don't actually have any all-rounders on the side of Legends reappear, they don't really have those Brawlers type characters bar the Trevenant and the Blastoise. So it'll be interesting to see whether this Squirtle, once it does evolve into that Blastoise, whether it's going to go into that Water Spout, a Rapid Spin, or whether we're going to end up seeing maybe a Surf Hydro Pump or a mixture of those two. I think sometimes Hydro Pump and Water Spin is another option there. So we'll just have to wait to see, as we do have those birds spawning on up. It is a 3v2 on that top path. It looks like it's going to majoritarily go to Legends reappear, as you do not want to get close to a Glaceon that has all of its Icicle Shards on hand.
Yeah, so much burst damage, and even as a defender main, you can feel that damage, and it definitely does not feel good. But what I'm looking at here for Legends Reappear is what is going to be their answer for that Decidueye there. As I mentioned before, I want to say it was game 1. It went unpunished. It was able to get so much damage from that back line, and we really needed to see Legends Reappear have some sort of speedster to be able to dive on that back line, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do that. So they're going to definitely need to have some vision on that Decidueye and try to look to pick it off as often as they possibly can.
My mistake, Curly. Is that actually an icy? It is a white icy wind freeze dry Glaceon. So that might be the answer in order to get to the backline of that Decidueye.
Oh.
Icy wind providing a little bit of a dash there, but also it's just that massive burst damage that it provides when you do have all of those shards in comparison to that consistent damage that you usually can't escape unless blocked, that Icicle Shard provides. But we do have a little bit of a push here up in that top path by Ground Zero Gaming, just trying to clear some space around these Swabblers and Altaria. That way we can get Joe to secure them, as they are currently 8.5. But you have Ethos setting the stage, laying down that Glacial stage, just trying to create them some space around there. But once again, we're not seeing these teams prioritize that basement Reggie. Instead, they're still scattered about, despite already hitting that 7-minute mark.
Yeah, some interesting plays happening here before these before the main fight happens for these objectives. We do have Ground Zero Gaming making a push onto Legends Reappear here, and it looks like they are definitely winning this engagement. Eldegoss getting fairly low. Now it's a 4v2 situation. Eldegoss off the table as well as Blastoise. This tier 1 now belongs to Ground Zero Gaming. They are going to take that out, and looks like they are going to turn on that Alecki and send it to a tier 2. Meanwhile, though, in the bot pad, Legends Reappear, securing that Regirock for themselves and also applying pressure on that bottom tier 1. So it looks like we have, both teams winning a path, just winning different paths.
Is this Thea Sky Ruins when it first came out? We have some Reggie Alecki gamers alert here. Reggie Alecki walks on through, 10 points, gets dunked on through, and we actually have a rapid spin Blastoise to answer that. But only a few points ended up going on through. It is still left on 32 points, but you do have Decidueye coming in with 5, another few little dunks, and that Inteleon ends up getting taken down by that Decidueye as well. So very interesting plays here from Ground Zero Gaming to give up that basement Reggie, which was that Regirock, and opt for that top lane push.
Yes, things are really cooking here in this mid-game. 272 points to Legends Reappears 107. And taking a look at levels here, despite Ground Zero, leading with scores, they are not leading with the levels. There is a small, tiny level advantage on the side of Legends Reappear, but Ground Zero Gaming is looking for a fight. They're here in the central area of Legends Reappear, looking for some picks, but some of them are getting picked off. Umbreon does go down, and it looks like Sylveon is getting knocked out by Inteleon.
We do have a pushback here from that block Slowbro. You do have Glaceon and Blastoise being taken down. Knock Knock has come out, is trying to hit those arrows onto that Trevenant, being able to land themselves a 2 KO streak. So definitely not the greatest position for Ground Zero Gaming, providing over some experience, but they were able to defend that pad. No points going in just yet, but the second round of objectives are spawning up here. You have Dragonite and Umbreon circling around this Reggie Alecki once again, considering that tier 2 pad is gone, Curly. So if they get this, this is going to be marching towards that home base.
Yeah, if your Legends Reappear, this is not a situation that you want to deal with. Having an Alecki going towards your main base like this forces Legends Reappear to focus on it, and Ground Zero Gaming has knowledge that that's what they're gonna have to do. So that gives Ground Zero Gaming vision and awareness of where Legends Reappear is, knowing that they're gonna be dealing with that Alecki. So they're not gonna apply any pressure on that. Instead, they're gonna turn it on this bottom tier 2 here. Oh wow, Decidueye getting that pick on the Trevenant there. Eldegoss going down as well. Some huge plays being done here as their team gets 4 teammates wiped on the side of Legends Reappear and also breaks that bottom tier 2.
I have an inkling that Ground Zero Gaming are not very happy with Legends being able to take that first game, because the dominance they are displaying right now is absolutely insane. We have a Dragonite at level 14, Decidueye already at that level 13 mark as well. Both have those plus movements. However, we do have Inteleon on the other side that is level 13. There's 50 seconds left to go until the final stretch. Are Legends Reappear going to be able to get another pick like we saw last game? Or will things end up come crumbling down for them?
Yeah, we'll have to find out here soon because we are inching closer to that Wraith, but oof, wow, what a KO there. Blastoise going down 30 seconds before the Ray, but they are going to be up in time and into position before that Rayquaza does spawn on the map here. Legends Reappear already taking the positioning here in this Ray pit, and of course, these teams are looking for the engagement already. Glaceon gets massively chunked out. That's going to force them to recall, so they might be be a little bit tiny late getting into positioning for this Ray fight here. But it looks like Legends Reappear. They are grouped up fairly well. Ground Zero Gaming trying to surround them and bubble around Legends Reappear here to try to fight them on all fronts.
Snipe beast snipe. Who's going to land that shot? We have the Umbreon getting hit, followed up by the Horn Leech and the Wood Hammer. It is now taken down. However, you do have Eldegoss being able to crash on down to Legends to provide them some shields and some HP. Snorlax taking a nap in the midst of it all, ends up getting taken down nonetheless. Legends Reappear have the numbers advantage here, and they are going to look at taking this opportunity as Blastoise just landed themselves a 4 KO streak. Holy macaroni! If Umbreon is able to come and get this, that is going to be a turnaround. But no, it ends up being the other Evolution Ethos, landing that once again for Legends Reappear.
Legends Reappear is on their revenge arc. They have not forgotten what Ground Zero Gaming did to them in set 1. I have to say, you have to be an incredible team to be able to, get knocked out by Ground Zero Gaming in your first set and be able to come back and defeat them and be there for the grand finals. Like, what an amazing story for Legends Reappear in this series so far. Absolutely incredible. But they still need to get the scores in. 455 to 427. We just had a small score go in. There are no more Ray Shields left for this team, so they just need to get a few more points in. But this is probably going to be our closest game of the set yet.
That is actually wild. If they're able to get in some dunks here, that is going to let them take that lead. The Blastoise sealing the deal with another 26 points. You have Glaceon also trying to get in a 50, but holy macaroni, what a close match that was.
Oh my goodness. And
Oh my
Legends of Reappear was just barely able to win this set of games. Had me on the edge of my seat. It would have been so unfortunate to see a team secure Ray and not be able to get in those points, but they got the job done. Absolutely incredible plays from both of these teams, but quite a story for Legends Reappear in this series.
It was definitely some great defense there by GZ to just break some shields and get that, but just the little points going on through to just creep them over the edge. But you can see DC on the Antelion dishing out 88k. You also have Ethos at 82k. A really great team fight all around. But that does mean, Curly, this is the losers finals. We are actually going to have to say goodbye to Ground Zero for the day, but I must say, some incredible matches that we have seen nonetheless.
Yeah, Ground Zero Gaming really showed up and showed out. I mean, they had an incredible run throughout this series. The first few sets that we got to see them, they absolutely popped off and definitely had some highlight moments that we cannot forget. But also love to see a team being able to clap back and get that revenge on a team that initially sent them into the losers bracket to begin with. So it's kind of like that fairy tale ending, you know? So we'll just have to see if Legends Reappear can, make things happen in the grand finals. But I am so excited. These games have been incredible and these teams are phenomenal. So definitely some top tier quality games.
Look, I feel like this team have earned that reappear spot in their name there. It's just a matter of earning that legends spot, right? If they're able to take down Antic, they are going to be legends reappear indeed. But I guess what they're fighting for, Ground Zero Gaming, they do get those much needed championship points for coming in third place. If we actually have a look at the OC leaderboards, we do have Antic Esports that are at the top. Fury Global, now they have actually been knocked out a little bit earlier on against Dodo too, so not getting as many championship points this month. However, after that AOS Cup, they are still at 1,920 plus the ones they earned today. Ground Zero Gaming are at 1,340. However, this is massive for Legends Reappear because they didn't actually play from the beginning of the season under this name. You had, I guess, teammate members all scattered. As we mentioned, they've only just reappeared this month. They're currently in 7th place. So I feel like even if they do end up coming in 2nd place, that is still a ton of championship points that they have earned themselves today.
Yeah, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, they definitely need to give themselves a pat on the back because that really shows, just how much they have improved, and the team synergy that they have and the confidence. Like I said, it is no easy feat to get sent into the losers bracket on your first set of games, and then to overcome all those obstacles in the losers bracket and to still find yourself in that grand finals. I mean, truly just such an incredible story for this team. And love to see teams like that being able to see those victories, despite the roster changes and the roster mania that I know is occurring here in the NA region.
Rostermania all around the world, it seems. I think one of the only other regions that aren't getting hit by Rostermania might end up being those Latin teams that we have seen. But we do have to bring back Fu and Lobo for their thoughts on this set. So let's bring them back, Curly. Howdy, Fu. Howdy, Lobo. How do you feel about watching that last set, Fu? What are your thoughts?
I mean, my jaw was on the ground in that last game. I mean, like going into the final stretch, I think all the pads on the side of Legends Reappear were just broken, and I was like, "Oh, looks like it's gonna be 3 games today for this matchup." And then somehow they just came back, and even after they got the Rayquaza Kello, it was still not like certain whether they're gonna win that game. But the Blastoise able to just getting those final dunks in the home pad, secure them the win. And I mean, last year in regionals, Legends Reappear went through the losers bracket to take out the regionals championships. Can they do it again in this April Cup? I'm keen to see what happens.
Yes, I definitely do remember that was quite the grind. I believe it ended up being like 8 or 9 matches with those bracket resets. It was absolutely insane. But Lobo, what are your thoughts on that match? Any highlights that you'd like to point out, or MVPs maybe?
I don't. I'm blown away by what I just witnessed. Legends Reappear went into that Ray fight with no pads up, and like Curly pointed out, the levels seem quite even across the board. But what a fight between both teams! The highlight has to be for me the defense of Ground Zero of that final pad. Well, we got to see the scores. We thought they were coming in, but the defense of Ground Zero was just so good and strong. And I was I was concerned a little bit to the end, just as the game cut off towards the last 5 seconds. I was like, are they going to get the points in or not? Absolutely wonderful. We pointed out Legends Reappear and Ground Zero went up against each other at our very first game of the day, and now Legends Reappear have reappeared once again to get that payback. So, we love stories here in the OC, but what a story! What a story that is.
Yes, well, Legends haven't come up against Antic yet. So this will be the first match between these two teams. But before we do end up heading into that grand final, the day is almost coming to a close. We, of course, need to take a break, reset, catch our breaths, because I believe we are in for one heck of a fight coming on up. So sit tight, folks, and we'll be back very shortly with your grand final set.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Unite Champion Series, the April Cup for the Oceania regions. We have your grand finals awaiting. I am Curly Q, and with me we've got Kellosaurus, it's Mifu, and also Lobo. What an incredible losers finals we just witnessed. It was quite the fairy tale story for Legends Reappear. Let's go ahead and ask Mifu and then Lobo, what were your thoughts on the last set of games?
I'll go first, Lobo, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I just thought, wow, what an amazing clash of two very, very strong teams going in. I mean, we talk about storylines, right? Ground Zero Gaming, they came off winning the March Cup. They have that momentum, and they were able to knock out Legends Reappear in the winners earlier today. But I mean, the name Reappear is just shining so brightly for them at the moment. They have reappeared and they've managed to defeat the demons and, really get themselves the ticket into that grand final. So, I mean, anything goes. I'm very, very excited to watch what happens.
Absolutely, Fu. These two titans are about to go up against each other. And on the other side, we did see Antic Esports make a very strong winners bracket run to sit themselves in the grand final. It's the same story with Antic Esports over the last couple of months, making that strong showing in the winners bracket. Obviously, last month, Ground Zero made a strong showing through getting through a losers bracket run to meet them in the grand final this time. But Legends reappeared, disrupting their story, once again reappearing on the stage, and we love to see it. We like to see our strong teams go up against each other, and now Legends reappear, staking a claim for a Titan of OCE role, and let's see if they can take down the biggest Titan of them all that await for them in that grand final stage.
Yeah, so just a little bit of a recap here, checking out my notes. Antic Esports sending Ground Zero into the losers bracket, Ground Zero sending Legends Reappear into the losers bracket, and then Legends Reappear sending Ground Zero Gaming home, going into the grand finals, and now they're going to be facing Antic Esports, the team that originally sent Ground Zero into the losers bracket to begin with. A lot of back and forth between all these teams here. Kello, what are your expectations going into this next set between our two top teams for this series?
That is a very tough question to answer, I might say, Curly. I guess expectations wise, we already have Antic Esports already claiming one of the cups, being that of the February Cup. So Legends reappear, they have only reappeared this month, making their name shine again. So I guess the expectation is, well, do we want to see an underdog coming on through, or do we want to see Antic Esports run it back? But we won't let you folks wait any longer for this match. Fu and I, we're going to take this one. So Lobo, Curly, and everybody else, get comfy, because here we go. And the reason why I say comfy, Fu, is, well, we may actually have ourselves a little flower crown as we flick on through on the side of Antic.
I mean, Keller, you're just the queen of transitions. That was perfect. But yeah, Comfy for the first time today. And look at that, paired up with the Comfy is that Zoa in the central area as well. So definitely a very, very fierce composition for Antic Esports going on here. And we've seen it all today. That Elder Goss in the top half is going to do so much in terms of slowing the enemy down so that the Trevenant or the little Phantom can get some stacks in the top half.
Yeah, we did see it a lot during the AOS Cup at EUIC, that Zorak and Comfy duo. You pair it up, and as I mentioned, we haven't really seen very many speedster picks this time round. So I guess Antic just opting for a little bit of a different strategy going into this grand finals. But I guess just little bits of pressure, little bits of poke here and there as the members are just trying to grab some wild Pokemon. You do have both central laners opting for that top path as well, as they do get ready for the first set of Swablu's and Ulterior to spawn food.
Yeah, that's something we've seen all today. You know, teams are prioritizing this top half birds here. Look at that big push by the Combustion. Gets knocked away as well by the Hydro Pump of the Water already online. Phantom gets taken down. And look at this. Anon is just in the flux zone of the enemy team. And a KO streak of 2-4 challenge will be able to enable the team to just get those dunks in. Already 75 points on the side of Antic Esports going into this 8-minute 30.
But you can see that the Zoroark is actually picking one Eos energy up at a time and dunking that on through. And I'd say they're likely to be running that attack weight stack. So that is actually going to be huge for Anon here. I'd say they're probably already at 5 stacks here, potentially 6. I can't count. Interestingly enough, we do have Glaceon taking away that blue buff. Considering Zoroark didn't end up getting the red buff from their central area, they're going to take it off that Combustion instead and look for this level 7. Now they do have both of their moves on hand.
Yeah, Anon doing more than just window shopping in the opposition central area. They're able to get those buffs and also that middle Altaria spawn as well. Anon and the Comfy are doing so well at the moment. Already level 7, but let's not forget the Blastoise and Glaceon also level 7 right now, Hello.
Yeah, they're really looking strong and scary right now. You do have Inteleon that has reached level 7, so does have that snipe shot on hand, something that you want to have from that backline, considering Legends Reappear do have quite that chunky melee front line going on there. But you know what? Front line or not, Crustle just ended up getting shredded on down, considering you have Anon about to hit that level 9 mark. More Eos energy ends up going in, and that gap is growing ever further and further, considering Antic Esports are now at 120 points to 30 points.
Yeah, if you're an Antic Esports fan, you'll be so happy at the moment because the lead is going higher and higher for Antic Esports. Another prioritization of this top Regieleki, Kello, as they have broken that top pad. So this is going to be a little bit of a problem for Legends Reappear if they do not back away and try to defend this pad, because that, look at that, Anon and the Comfy and possibly challenged on the Glacier is able to push that top perhaps in, but meanwhile at the bottom, I think it seems like the Legends Reappear have gotten that Reggie at the bottom.
Yeah, they were able to get that Reggie steal, so that is going to give them that attack and special attack buff, but that is not going to stop Antic Esports for going and eating up that tier 1 pad within a flash, considering that Regieleki did walk on through. You do have Robbie down here in that bottom buff, trying to defend two Brawlers, attackers here as much as they can, as Sulawu is just going to try and starve this Crustle by yoinking away those ball toys.
Look at that entire top path being exposed there now on the side of Legends Reappear. And look at this, Anon possibly getting a pick, just not able to knock down that Elder Gods, but teams of Legends Reappear have now converged into this bottom path as well. People are looking for possibly another skirmish over here, but just looking at the levels, a level 10 Zoroark about to hit that level 11 is going to be such a trouble if not to not take this Pokemon down.
I think the problem here is for Legends Reappear, they don't want to be caught, left unattended, left all alone, because they are just going to be picked off by that Zoroark, and that is a great demonstration there. The Blaziken was looking like to be in a bit of a pickle, but the fact that Legends Reappear were able to recognize that, come and assist that Blaziken, take down that biggest threat, being the Zoroark, and now they have an opportunity to go and dunk in some points. 14 points do go in from that Trevenant. However, you do have Glaceon joining the fray here with their Icicle Spears and just trying to shred on them down. You have Crustle just taking the brunt of all of that damage on such low HP. However, there is a berry there to just replenish that little bit of a HP pool, as we do have 15 seconds left to go until the second objective of the basement spawns. But look at this, Antic Esports, they're going to look at rotating up first towards that Regieleki.
They definitely want to get this Regieleki off the map as soon as possible, because that means there's going to be a third one when the final stretch begins. Blaziken looking to go for a 1v2 against the Comfy Zoroark at the top lane, but look at this. I don't think Legends Reappear really has the capabilities to have a fight over here. The level differential could be a little bit of a problem there. Zoroark and Glaceon able to convert that Regieleki, and look at this, the pressure now coming in, because if this Regieleki walks into the home pad, Kello, they're going to be plenty of points dunked in for Antic Esports.
I am really worried for Manny here. They haven't even got their level 9 nor their Unite move. Oh, as I mentioned it, they just ticked on over thanks to that passive experience being shared across the board. But you do have an attempted push down here in that bottom path. A great Hydro Typhoon coming out from that Blastoise to just knock up Legends reappear. This bottom T1 pad is left on 4 points, but you have both the Umbreon and the Blastoise swimming up the creek without a paddle. They were able to make it out of that flux zone nonetheless.
Can I just say, Trevenant, you know, with that pain split on the Glacier, I feel like it's just a decent counter to it if you can get close to it, because the more damage the Ice Cold Spear is going to do to the Trevenant, the more it's going to do back on that Glacier. So I would like to see the Trevenant be a little bit more aggressive running at the Glaceon in those final moments of the match. Not a big overdone for both teams at the bottom, but if you're anti-esports, you've got a 200 almost a lead in those points. And look at that. With that, Reggie still not even contested color. They are trying to keep their lead going into that final moments of the match.
Well, when you only have 2 level 9s, well now a level 10 on that Crustle. Why do you keep doing this to me, Crustle? On the side of Legends Reappear, you just don't have that level advantage. Instead, you just need to opt for the wild Pokemon that have spawned on your side of the map. Try and get those levels. Try to get those Unite moves back, considering Inteleon and Crustle are still missing theirs. But this is where the biggest threat appears. That Regieleki, if Antic are able to lock this down, that is going to be marching towards that home base, and that is not a position where Legends Reappear want to be in.
Oh no, here we go, Anon going in and getting that Eldegoss, but he will be taken down by the Blaziken. Now Blastoise trying to make some space for his team. The Comfy just able to go in. Hydro Typhoon goes out very, very late into this game. Might not have it for the final stretch here, but that might be enough, Kello, to just zone out Legends Reappear while Challenge is looking to work on this Regieleki. Can he get it in time in the next 8 seconds? Crustle trying to delay this as much as possible. This is the most important objective. They just managed to get it, Kello, and we have a Regieleki walking to perhaps the home base. The pressure's going on. There's 1 minute and 56 seconds on the clock here. Everyone is popping the Unite move now, Kello.
Potentially high risk, high reward here, as you do have Blastoise that have their Unite. It do end up getting taken down. However, Zoroark and Comfey do dive on in with their days there to just go and get a 3 KO streak challenge, and Zoroark Comfey is absolutely on a roll. Robbie being the great defender there to just bear the brunt of a lot of that damage, provide those stuns with the foul play, meant that Challenge was able to knock out 4 of those members, and now they're gonna go and shred up this Rayquaza, considering they have the opening. And after all of that, Fu, you had Regieleki walking into that home base as well. That is really just a stamp in the foot right there.
I mean, it really just goes to show, after all of that, you know, the inevitable has arrived. Look at this, Regieleki in the home pad, as you said. Those underdogs are going in regardless. We've got shield on Challenge as well. Can I just say, hello, what a huge pick by Anon onto that Eldegoss there, because as soon as the support player for Legends Reappear was out of the match, they knew they were able to shred down the tanks with Glaceon's Ice Cold Spear. And look at this, 830 to 95 points. There is a reason Antic Esports have made every single Grand Finals in this series. And, you know, they want one more to add on. They want to win and be crowned the 8th Cup champion.
Now they're just going to go and pad those stats, look for some more AOS energy if they're able to land some more KOs here. Challenge is hiding on back. But I really feel like that was a sacrifice worth giving there. Sulawu uniting at that 2-minute 20 mark. Obviously, they wouldn't end up having it for the final stretch. But knowing that Regieleki was going to be a major priority there, to give that up, to just provide some space for Challenge on the Glaceon and the Zoroark and Comfey to shred it on down. Yes, Sulawu ended up getting taken on down as soon as the Rayquaza spawns, but the trust to have the rest of the team, I guess, clean up the rest of Legends Reappear was a sacrifice worth giving.
Sacrifice worth giving indeed. I mean, the major problem there was just Challenge, just no pressure on the Glaceon to take them out. I think Ethos tried the best on Blaziken, but just Sulawu and Robbie, as you mentioned before, doing so well just to protect Challenge there. 113,000 damage. I think that might be the top damage today, Kello, from all the matches that we've spectated today. That just goes to show, the fact that Challenge only took 22,000. The great amount of teamwork this team has just enabled this A presser as or the big blue button, as Lobo likes to call it. I mean, Glaceon, we've saw the dash move today on Icy Wind, but Icicle Spirit is still so strong, especially when you're going into like a double tank comp that Legends Reappear played against us. So, I mean, Kello, wow. For the first game of this grand finals, the fact that Anti Esports were able to get it in the bag, I think it gives them a lot more confidence because, it's only a best of 3 unless there's a bracket reset, isn't it?
Well, if you think about it, Antic Esports, they've had a bit of downtime themselves, considering, as you mentioned, they were in that grand final. So Legends Reappear, they've needed to fight constantly today. They haven't had that break. They had to fight through that lower bracket, and now they've landed themselves up in this grand final. So it's just a matter of whether fatigue is now starting to set in or whether they just need to keep that momentum going. But Antic Esports, I bet you they're there with their notepads, taking down notes, looking at those previous games that we just had against Ground Zero, knowing, well, what are Legends Reappear going to bring? The fact that we ended up having a Gyarados ban and a Leafeon ban on the side of LDR, obviously, earlier on in the day, that Gyarados was just too much of a threat. These teams have learnt that. They've adapted. They don't want to let that fiery dragon out on the field. On the opposite side, though, another dragon that these teams do not want to come into is going to be that Dragonite. And I guess Mew, well, it's just Mew. There isn't really much to say about that. However, it really is an evolutions meta right now. I feel like the problem with Legends Reappear composition here is they didn't really have that early game character, that level 4 power spike from there. They didn't have the evolutions. You have Blaziken and Inteleon having those 3 evolutions in order to actually come online. Yes, you obviously have Crustle and Eldegoss getting that evolution at level 4, but in terms of their damage, I mean, it's a supporter and defender. There's not really a lot of burst earlier on. Zarvi, Trevenant, I mean, obviously, great suppression there, but I feel like Legends Reappear, they need to look at getting one of these other evolutions on their team, whether it be an Espeon or whether it be a Sylveon.
I think that's a great point. Speaking of evolutions as well, we talked about how Umbreon has had a recent buff to its Wish move. Looking at these stats here, just to let everyone know, we had the Comfy, obviously, that stayed on Anon, the Zorak, the most of the time, which is, I think, a great duo combo to have because it allows the Zorak to really, we call it the Comfy effect, right? Able to do so much more on the Zorak because, you've got a constant pocket healer there. But Robbie, able to heal 87,000 on a defender? What world are we living in? I mean, this is just a great indication that you can have and support your teams in 2 aspects, right? You got Robbie to run around and putting, his little wishes. It's like birthday wishes, right, on each of the Pokemons. And then you got Anon and Liz just knowing that, if Liz can, heal up Anon whenever he's in trouble, we've got the Comfy Unite available, then it's just so much pressure and of an ask for DC or Ethos, right, on the Inteleon and the Blaziken, like you said, to do damage and actually finish off the KO. Because, yes, they can be on 1 HP, but if Robbie is close, or if Liz is close, you're not knocking any of those Pokemons out, are you?
No, I guess 2 healers is better than 1 in this instance. Yes, Liz, I guess that's the problem that Comfey provides. And I guess that's probably why a lot of teams don't opt for this supporter, is because it can only heal that Pokemon that it's attached to. But even then, during those really intense fights, it's too risky for a Comfey to go and detach and reattach to somebody else in order to heal them up. Because they're so fragile, I mean, 1 shot by an overheat, 1 shot by a snipe shot, and that is going to be the end of Comfey, sent back to the Pokemon Center. So I think, just being able to stick onto a non there during that fight, that is really what you want. And then Robbie to just go and replenish whatever Liz can't provide, but also providing the heals to that Glaceon. Definitely, provided those, considering it was able to dish out 113k damage, and of course the defender as well. That way they can just stay continuing in that front line and defending and doing what they need to do best. So Legends Reappear definitely have to go back to the drawing board in terms of their composition. We'll have to see what they're going to end up selecting up next. Whether they, they'll end up taking our advice and picking themselves up one of our favorites, Evolutions, or whether they're just gonna stick by their guns here and stick with what's comfortable to them.
I mean, that's a great point that, there is still a possibility to bring this back because it is a best of 3 at the end of the day, right? There are still at least one more game, and if Legends Reappear do win this game, they will take it to a decisive game 3 and possibly a bracket reset. I know you and I want to watch as many games as possible, Kello, so I am definitely hoping we're going to have even more action, as many games as possible that these teams want to show us today. But I do want to talk about how important it is for Legends Reappear to potentially, take this cup out if they can. We know, there are 2 ways to make it into Worlds, aren't they, Kello? There is the most amount of points, in your region at the end of the series, or you win regionals. Now, if you're a player that really wants to go to Hawaii, you're going to try to get as many points as possible, aren't you? And so I've just heard from recently on the leaderboard, if Legends Reappear are able to take out Antic Esports, they will land themselves second on the leaderboard, which means an inch closer to maybe securing a ticket by points. Regardless, though, Antic Esports probably looking to just make sure their lead above everyone else is as high as possible going to regionals. So definitely stakes are high going to this grand final match number 2. I'm just trying to think on the side of Legends Reappear, Kello, like what they can actually change in terms of their drafts. I know we talked about how there is double healers on Antic Esports. I haven't really seen many Blissies today. So perhaps, we might have a Blissey that comes out, or even a power swap mime. I'm just going through all the support players that can maybe do a little bit more healing, just because Umbreon is just so incredibly strong right now in terms of the support it provides.
Ugh, you really want to get wild here. You can always bring out a Sableye support. I mean,
That
it
is
doesn't provide
true.
any healing or anything, but it is a great suppression tool and quite annoying. Maybe even going for a little invade, but I don't know if any of these players are well versed in that little purple gremlin. I mean, we've definitely seen some wilder picks here and there, but you know what, Fu? We have our game ready. Now, while these teams may have not provided you with a pink blob being that Blissey that provides you with those eggs, we actually have a different pink blob appearing on the map. So let's head on through second game, Antic Esports versus Legends Reappear in the grand finals.
Oh my god, I think there are 2 pink blobs on the side of Legends Reappear here. I am seeing a few really well-dressed pink blobs indeed. There is going to be a Clefable Kello as well as a Slowpoke. So Slowbro will make an appearance today in this bottom path for Legends Reappear.
But we're talking about Evolution meta, Fu. We have 4 Evolutions on the map, but Antic Esports, they've locked in 3 of them for themselves. We'll have to wait and see which evolutions there will be, whether it's by the ribbons that they have around circling or whether they end up just evolving in time for us to see. Well, that's one off that we can tick off the board. We have a Leafeon, Fu.
Leafeon, a very classic ban coming out from a lot of these games we spectated, but looks like it just got off the and gets to play today in the playing field. The Espeon, also another evolution we haven't seen too much today, but here comes a huge engage on Anon, not able to knock down anybody else, but it definitely does send Legends Reappear going back to their tier 1 pad. This Leafeon is not playing Solar Blade, Kello. That's an interesting note because the secure potential on that Razor Leaf is going to be a little bit less.
Yeah, that is actually a really interesting note, isn't it? We'll have to wait and see how well Anon plays this, but probably just looking for a little bit more dash maneuverability, being able to leave those leaves behind and hoping that they cut on through strategically. But you do have something that we saw last round. It is the 4-person push up in this top path. Antic Esports weren't able to get enough momentum considering there are 3 here. But as I do say that, that was a brilliant drill peck coming out from Sulu to whittle down those members, but they just weren't able to finalize those KOs.
Yeah, DC with a huge knockout of challenge there on the Sylveon, able to get that level 6 Drizzle already. Now as teams are just converging, we can see that Robbie is still struggling to evolve here to Umbreon. A little bit tough against a Drizzle and a Slowbro already, but Sulawu though, making sure that experience is still on their side, able to take the blue buff away from Legends Reappear as teams are going in for these Altaria spawns in the middle at 8 minutes.
Yeah, oh my gosh, the drill peck from Silverwood to push it towards their team is huge. Just being able to starve Legends Reappear from getting any of that experience at all. But as you mentioned, in terms of levels, you already have Inteleon that has hit that level 7 mark, so has that snipe shot. No level 7s yet on the side of Antic, but they are hoping to get these levels with some KOs, unless they end up getting KO'd themselves, considering Leafeon is quite low, does need a retreat, grab themselves a berry or two before the next set of birds do end up spawning.
Now, I do also want to point out that Challenge is playing Hyper Voice Sylveon. I think that is a great move pick against such a tanky team that Legends Reappear have had. Now, looking at the top path here, oh, we have a Blastoise up already. Drill Peck Sulawu comes through, not able to really get any knockout at the moment, but Anon might be in trouble here. The Surf comes through, gets stuck on the ledge, and I think fortunately for Anon, able to get out with Liz's healing as well. A lot of aggression coming early game. For both of these teams, Kello. I think both teams, they can feel the tension in the air. This could be the final match for LDR. So I'm sure everyone's just looking to maybe... Oh, a prioritization of the Regieleki once again, Kello, as they're going to be converting this on the top.
I guess if they can snowball this top lane like they did last time, open up that home base, that is going to be really beneficial for Antic here. Regieleki does end up going on in Leafeon, being able to get in their dunks, get in some much needed stacks if they are running that attack weight. Also pick themselves up a 2 KO streak. All the meantime, we do have Legends Reappear shredding up this Regirock. Umbreon not able to do a lot there. Does need to give that over. But now we have 3 level 8s on the side of Legends, plus that level 9 Inteleon, but despite all that, Antic, they are slowly catching up in levels by the 2 level 7s they have on their side.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the sacrifice, right? You sacrifice the levels for the points lead, and look at that, 140 differential between both of these teams here. Clef, you know, just making sure everyone is healthy, but looks like everyone's going on a wild Pokemon capture spree here, just looking to get as many of these Altarias and yellow dots on the map as possible. Hyper Voice shredding down all these Altarias. Now, you know, even though DC are hitting those snipe shots, look at that, the wish into the Eldegoss heals as well. I mean, everyone that's going to be damaged for a little bit, Kello, they're just going to be healed right back up.
I guess whether it's a Comfey and Umbreon or whether it's an Eldegoss and Umbreon, as we mentioned, just having those 2 healers on your side is so beneficial. When one can't heal one, you have some backup there. Otherwise, Emerald 2-step is going to fall flat there, as we do have Leafeon being taken out there. Now Liz is caught in a pickle, trying to burst 3v1. Oh, but wait a minute! A huge triple trample coming out from Sulawu to interrupt the scoring from Legends Reappear there. That was a massive.
I mean, triple trample over 3 people. Say that 3 times fast, Kello. Holy! Sulu, absolutely the lifesaver of his team right now for that, because I was going to say, that was quite a mistake from the Leafeon there, just to get knocked out, because poor Eldegoss were not going to be able to defend against 3 players of Legends Reappear. But Sulu, yet again, going and being a pest in the enemy central area, could be caught out at the moment, and as soon as Regieleki is called, hello, you can see Challenge right up once again. They really want this Regieleki, or as many as possible going down.
All yells on deck from that Hyper Voice, but they do end up getting pushed on the back by the Hydro Pump and the Hydro Typhoon. And Legends Reappear, they are now going in for a second attempt at that push. No Dodri is in sight, so that is going to walk on through into that pad. And now they do have that space up in that top path. You do have Umbreon dunking in 5 points. So, I mean, the thing is, despite that tier 1 breakage, you still have Antic Esports leading at 245 to 90 points. But 4 people are down at the bottom from Legends, considering we do have a second basement Reggie to deal with. And here we go through.
Huge Moonlight Krantz for the Robbie there, just to make sure they take all the shields possible. Espeon's Unite just barely able to connect there. And look at that. This is just chaos raining down for Antique Esports right now. They're going to be able to team wipe the Legends reappear outside of that. And with a solid down at the bottom. I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, was it a 49 overdump at the bottom? Was it left on one killer?
I don't know.
Kind of insane.
I am not very quick at maths, Fu, but nonetheless, 309 to 90 points. Legends reappear. They do have that comeback experience on their side. There are a lot of yellow dots on the map indicating those wild Pokemon. Funnily enough, Antique Esports, they're not even going to go to their side and clean up all those yellow dots. They want to push on forward towards Legends reappear and take them away from their side.
I mean, the grass is always green on the other side, right? They definitely feel like the wild Pokemon on the opposition side is a little bit more tasty. Now, top birds are coming up here, and Anon just looking to just stay in the bush just in case someone on the opposition team walks into it. They might be able to get a KO as well over there. 2 minutes 44 on the clock. I mean, level-wise, it's actually pretty close. I mean, we do have 2 level 13s on the side of Antique Esports. But, you know, if LDR has shown us anything today, is that it doesn't matter if they're a little bit behind in points. If they have similar levels, they can still come back and win the game. So, 25 seconds left to do this top Regieleki. I think on Legends Reappear, they're just going to look to get this Rayquaza positioning. Because, you know, only 15 seconds before the green dragon comes onto the map.
Yeah, but is this early positioning going to cost them, though? You do have that Regieleki getting freely into that tier 2. You also have the threat of that Dodrio waiting for that time to tick over. That way they do capitalize on those double points. 100 points go on in. You did have those snipe shots poking away at that Sylveon, but you have Robbie on the Umbreon diving on deep, using their Midnight Prance to just try and get some shielding, but Slowbro taking out the Dodrio. This might be why Slowbro was banned previously. The other defender has been taken down, Umbreon, and now we have Antique Esports at a numbers disadvantage, 3v4.
They might be a numbers advantage, but there comes the Unite move advantage, though. Here comes the Emerald 2-step to knock down 2 players on side of Legends reappear, and suddenly Anon's going for more, takes down the Clefable 2, and it's only the Slowbro and the Blastoise coming back that can make a difference. This match looks like Slowbro is already fended off so far, and the top part there will be knocked down, perhaps. He's just struggling for the end of his life over there. And Xavier here looking to stall it out. They know they're behind. They just need to wait for the Intellon to come back to maybe rip this Rayquaza and get that shield. But Dojo is also back, so that's going to be a danger for them. Here comes the Leafeon to take down the Clefable with the Umbreon. And, you know, with just 2 attacks on the side of LDR, this is going to be very hard of an ask to even get into the Rayquaza pit. DC goes down to Eldegoss, and that is going to be a team wipe. I'm not sure, Kello, whether this Slowbro is going to be able to make a difference as Hundo Burgers are just going to come into the home pad.
Oh, 30 seconds left on the clock, Fu. I think this is looking quite dark and grim for Legends reappear, as I think they're going to have to say goodbye to that grand finals and that champion title. We do have more points going on in, but I don't think there's anything left that Legends can do right now, as Antique Esports, they're just going to continue pushing on forward, looking to dunk in even more points just to try and pad those stats. They don't care that they're getting taken down here, but there's just not enough time on the clock, and that is going to wrap us up for the day. Antique Esports are going to be your OC April Cup champions, 2 times winners this season, Fu.
I mean, that is a dominant, I guess, exhibition of what they can do, right? Over 2 games, they had the commanding lead and they just ran with it. I mean, 503 points to, I think it's 90. I mean, Leafeon, there's a reason why we haven't seen many Leafeons, right? Anon doing 37% of the team's damage. Just such a nuisance from the get-go. I mean, as soon as you get that level 4, you just come online, and I mean, it must be scary, right? If you're Ethos or DC as the Inteleon and Espeon, because that Emerald 2-step just does so much damage.
It really does, but I must say, you know, while it was quite a low-scoring game from Legends Reappear, Ethos on the Espeon was able to do 73k damage. So I really feel like that was a great answer, a great change-up in comparison to that last match. But I guess having 3 evolutions versus 1, well, I guess the story just tells itself. But even then, stealing away that Eldegoss from them. Eldegoss plus Robbie on the Umbreon, being able to just provide those heals. And we cannot forget Sulawu on that Dodrio, that triple trample up in that top path. That was such a highlight. And of course, Challenge, just doing what Challenge does. You gotta love him.
Absolute amazing performance from both teams, and I mean, it's just the way things goes here. For example, on a team where, like you said, there are three evolutions. If they get ahead and they're not stopped in their tracks, they will be able to snowball and take the win for them. I mean, if we can distill anything from today's games, Kello, it's if you have evolutions and you have more of them, they are going to be able to get you guys the win. So, I mean, I love evolutions myself. I want to see the original three come in, but today, I mean, Sylveon, the Umbreon, the Glaceon, the Leafeon. I mean, it's just the star of the shows today.
They are the star of the shows and super duper popular for a reason. But you know what? While these evolutions might be a force to be reckoned with, I think it just demonstrates that Antic Esports might be the evolutions of the OCE region. But we, of course, need to hear from our other two casters that we've had today, Lobo and Curly. Let's bring it on back and ask them their thoughts, Fu.
Welcome back, guys. Lobo and Curly. Lobo, how did you feel about that grand finals and the performance from both of the teams?
Unbelievable performance from Antic Esports, taking a grand final 2-0 is what we love to see. I know we like to see bracket resets and game 3 situations going on, but it is always a pleasure to see a powerhouse come in strong. And what a performance. Like you said, the highlight, that triple trample save on the top base. You guys were trying to figure out the math. I was able to see that the perfect math that Antic Esports did. They were able to get that one, leave that base on 1 point, and did get a 49 overcap. Such great control Antic Esports is showing, whether they had the Zoroark Comfy combination in that first game or that second combination with Dodrio coming on in. But what a performance. Congratulations to LDR for putting up such a strong performance throughout the entire tournament. But Antic Esports takes it once again, and what a great showing.
And Curly, do you have any final thoughts on that grand final set yourself?
I think everybody said it perfectly. I mean, Antic Esports is looking so good, but the competition throughout this whole entire series was absolutely phenomenal. These teams are looking so good. Definitely a very high quality series for sure. And of course, I know we've talked about it a few times already, but that triple trample in the top path to stop those scores, my jaw literally dropped, my eyebrows raised. I was like, what? Like, that's such a huge play. Absolutely incredible. I think a lot of people were taken away with that play there. So yeah, big shout out to all the players on Antic Esports. Y'all popped off and won the dang thing.
Yeah, and they did it all through that winner's side as well. They didn't even end up, I think, did they end up dropping a match at all today? Oh, yes, they did in the beginning.
Only one, yeah.
Yes,
Only
which
one,
was
yeah.
right at the beginning up against Dodo too, but being able to take down Ground Zero 2-0 and not even letting Legends Reappear have that bracket reset. Once again, a big congratulations to Antic Esports, but nonetheless, these teams do not go home empty-handed. They obviously earn themselves that much needed championship points. So because of that win, Antic Esports, they're going to keep that lead up the top of that leaderboard, but that is going to shoot Legends Reappear just a little bit up further through that championship point leaderboard. But we also have the monetary reward side of things as well. Antic Esports, because they got first place, they took home $1,500 for their team. So that's pretty good. And second place is 1,000 buckaroonies. So not bad for a day of Pokemon Unite. Some fun, but the action doesn't stop here. Right? We have our regionals next month that we still have a chance to make a comeback, and that is where we'll discover whether things are going to be shaken up or stirred. But we also have the other regions yet to come later on tonight for us in the OCE regions and AEU, plus the other regions as well. So if you do want to tune in to that broadcast, it is going to be over on the Pokemon Unite Twitch page, so you can go and check out for other magnificent casters. Spraggles, Doob Snacks, Wonder Chef, and Zoinks take that away. But big shout outs as we do wrap on up to Miss Mystic here, who has been behind the scenes on production. Of course, Radiant Rosanda over on the cams. A special shout out to Cryptic as well for being in that backline. And of course, all of our mods for helping us out here today. And a massive thank you to the three of you for joining me here today. So thank you so much, Fu, Lobo, and Curly. Any final words before we wrap it on up, Fu?
I mean, today has just been so spectacular, right? I just want to give a big shout out to some of the teams as well. Like we said, Antic Esports only dropping a game to take it through winners. Legends Reappear beating the team that beat them in the winner's side. And also Dodo 2 for going so far for the first ever cup together. I mean, these monthly cups just show off so much talent and so many awesome storylines as well. And obviously, thank you, Kellosaurus, for broadcasting this as well for us all. Actually, the beacon of the OC region. I think everyone knows this is the way to watch the monthly cups. And without you, Kello, we wouldn't ever be here to spectate these games.
Look, it's always a pleasure, as I say, uniting for a day for some matches of Pokemon Unite. Lobo, before we wrap up, final words?
What an incredible day of games. Big congratulations to Antic Esport. It is amazing to see all the teams that we did get to spectate, but obviously the other teams that we didn't get to spectate as well. They played their hardest. Remember, they did have to go through last weekend to get to this weekend. We have such a great amount of talent in the OC region. We've seen different comps, different teams, different bands, different everything. And I'm just so excited. And once again, I'd like to say thank you to you as well, Kilo, for putting this on and inviting us to be a part of this broadcast. It's amazing that the OCE comes out and shines because we do get to do it first. So we're setting the stage and setting the bar for the rest of the regions to follow up.
Look, that bar is high is all I'm going to say, Lobo, especially after these matches that we
Yeah.
have witnessed today. But
Absolutely.
as well, special shout out. Thank you so much, Curly, for joining us from the NA region. I really appreciate you giving up your sleep for us today. So any final words before we wrap it up, Curly?
Always an honor and a very enjoyable experience to DGen for the OC region. Incredible experience. I mean, this region is looking so good competitively, and it was such a blast to cast over these games. Many times I was on the edge of my seats, just in awe of the plays that these teams were making. The adjustments that I saw, just absolutely incredible. So even if you didn't make it into that grand final situation, just know that your hard work is paying off. And like I said, Oceania region is looking incredible. Thank you so much, Kello, for extending this opportunity to me. It is always an honor and a pleasure to be casting with you, as well as with Ifu and Lobo. So thank you so much for having me, and I love this region. You guys are incredible.
And we love you too, Curly. Don't you worry about that. So, without further ado, that is going to be our goodbyes for today. I'll definitely catch you over on the NAEU flip side there. Thank you, everybody, once again here today for tuning on in for the April Cup finals for the Oceanic region. Congratulations to Antic Esports, your champions. That is us signing off for the day. See you next time.